Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli and this is Vigorelli Institute. Been some time since I recorded anything because I've been busy. One of those things I've been doing is this thing right here. Where's my camera? There you are. This, okay? This, before we get started, is the flag of the new Roman Empire from my series, the Dorian Astrapio series. Book 1 is already out. It's called The Hidden Race. That was released back in 2020, with second edition being released just a couple of months ago. I have also recently released 2 other books. They're lore books. First one being Fey Earth, which this flag is in. And by the way, you can get this on my website at vimandvigorelli.com. Link will be in the description. And the other book is called Homo Sapiens Mysticus. You'll see the three pictures, behind me. They are in there. These are originals. They are hand-drawn by a very dear friend of mine. Her name is Sierra Johnson. She is local here in Middle Tennessee. And as soon as she gets a website, I will let you know about it. Fantastic work and works on contract. So, without any further ado, let's take a look at our topic today. Now, in the course of the last last few months actually, I started watching it back in June when it popped on. Hasbro Channel. They are viewing episodes of G.I. Joe and Transformers. That's what it was. Yes, because they are just so very awesome. I actually grew up with these. I was born in the 80s. Yes, I'm a millennial. Shocker. Yeah, I bet you thought I was a boomer, didn't you? Wrong. Anyway, I grew up watching it and loved the shows. I had Transformers toys. I had G.I. Joe toys. They were just chef's kiss beautiful. Okay? Absolutely loved them. I've said that many times because it's true. Well, one of the things that always drove me nuts about these shows is, I'd be watching them in the afternoon, I'd be watching them in the morning, and while bad things would happen, they were never permanent. Okay? And there's a very good reason for that. It was because back in the 1980s, you couldn't show permanent changes, especially life-altering ones, if kids were going to be watching the show. Okay? So they had to employ what was called episodic story structure. Episodic story structure is what happens in episode 5 has no bearing on episode 10, and what happened in episode 1 is completely meaningless to episode 23. Okay? It's basically everything resets at the end of the episode, and everybody laughs and goes back to normal, and the bad guys get theirs, yada, yada, yada. Okay? Which is fine. Ish. Okay. I myself prefer serial storytelling method. That is what happens in episode 1 causes episode 2, and what happens in episode 2 causes what happens in episode 5. Okay? I like that a lot more because then there's an order to it. Okay? Episodic storytelling is you can watch them in any order and it won't change anything. Okay? New characters get introduced because reasons and disappear just as quickly because of reasons in episodic fashion. Okay? And you see this in G.I. Joe, and you also see this in Transformers. Okay? Now, I'm going to do video on Transformers much later, but this is about G.I. Joe because that's the one I've been watching mostly. Okay? And I love it. Now, another thing is because it was primarily aimed at, grade school kids, is although they've got the shooty sticks never actually hurt anybody, okay, because you can't show anything like that on these shows. That would be bad, okay, could be traumatizing, so they decided not to do that, okay. Whenever something bad is about to happen, a true shot is laying, the people are always able to get out of the way, they're always able to parachute to safety, they're always able to get out of the tank or the car or away from the bike and all of that just in time and never get hurt, etc. Okay? Well, that isn't going to work. Okay? Now I understand. Kid show. Richard, calm down. Well, this is a real-world logic segment, and I'm probably going to make this 3 separate videos because reasons. Okay? So consider this an intro. Okay? Well, in the real world, what is the point of having the shooty sticks if they don't do anything? Okay? If I can just run at you and like that, then why not just do that? Okay? If it has the exact same result and the battle is resolved in the exact same fashion. Okay? So, not only that, one of the things that always drove me nuts is, even when I was like 5, 7 years old, these guys couldn't hit the ground if they pointed it straight down and shot. Is like, ugh. Okay, I grew up around shooty sticks and pointy objects and all that stuff. I know how they work. I made my very first shot when I was 7, 8 years old, something like that. Yeah. Okay, so I understood. And this, oh boy, even as a kid, drove me crazy. Okay. So, within the real world, any given battle, any given episode of this would have direct ramifications on everything else going forward. Good guys and bad guys would fall in the battle, assuming great land battles like what is depicted on the show. I kind of doubt that would actually happen, though. Okay, but you have to understand why G.I. Joe was made. Okay, G.I. Joe was created, I believe, in the 60s or 70s or the 50s. I forget. Anyway, go ahead and look it up. It was created by a guy who was a vet from, I believe, World War II. He was American, and he absolutely loved it. I believe he was a Marine, and he loved his job. But he was also creative, okay? So Cold War hits in the 50s, and he's going like, I want to boost American sensibilities against the Cold War, okay? And help bulk us up, okay, create some good fervor so that our society doesn't implode. Sounds familiar. Anyway, he created G.I. Joe. Basically, G.I. Joe was it was an American-based specialist military group designed to counter a terrorist group called Cobra. Okay, Cobra is an analog for several different ideological groups. Yay. Okay, and G.I. Joe is there to stop them. Okay, it's their whole mission statement is in the opening credit song, G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. Okay, feel free to listen to it. It's there. Okay. And these guys operate with code names, semi-covert, black ops stuff, other things, etc. Okay? Real world, yeah, okay. I'll give you that. All right. I don't think it would be as open as it is, though, in the show. Because from what they're showing us, in the show, it's basically the amount of people that Cobra would have in their organization. There's got to be recruitment centers, okay? There's got to be like ROTC stuff going on in the local strip mall. You walk in, hi, welcome to Cobra. I'm Sergeant so-and-so. I hear you want to join. What? Okay, same thing with G.I. Joe, okay? Because we've got guys coming in here that they basically do 1, maybe 2 tours of regular combat, and then I guess they're selected or something. But they had other guys in there. They were like 18, 19 years old, and they're going straight in. I mean, these must be the best of the best of the best with honors, sir. And they're just like there. Okay. All right. But, you know, it is a kid show after all. So I would expect these organizations to be fairly clandestine, in that you would only be able to gain access if you knew how, or if you were recommended or specifically recruited by them. Okay? And I would also expect this to be, holy crap, I'm in the big leagues, because you would see their stuff going on if you knew where to look. Okay? An organization like Cobra would have the ability to dive in and start extorting money out of governments and populace and all of that. That's why G.I. Joe exists in the first place, is to stop them from doing that. Okay? So, going back, okay, this guy created this franchise because of World War II and the subsequent Cold War. Okay. Now, back then, military engagements were all about big, huge land battles. Okay, Battle of the Seine, Battle of Verdun, Stalingrad, Warsaw. Oh, good. The list goes on. Okay, London Blitz, for Pete's sakes. Okay, lots of people, lots of machines, lots of shooty sticks, lots of vehicles. Everything's going off all at once. Oh my dear Lord. Okay. Well, that changed during the Cold War. Now, we still kind of had it during Korea and Vietnam. Well, definitely in Korea, not to the same extent. But Vietnam was a lot quieter by comparison. It was a lot more guerrilla focused. And when you're trying to fight guerrillas, like you're fighting a regular land war, you're going to lose. Okay? Because they know the house better than you do. But that's another video. Okay? So, the reason why G.I. Joe is depicted the way it is because that's the lore the creator made. Okay? Even, now let's say that that universe is in our universe. You have these two organizations there. The big land battles would actually be few and far between. Okay? They'd be kind of incidental, and here's why. Okay? Who is funding it? Where are they getting their money? Where are they getting their resources? Okay? An army marches on its stomach, and a battalion marches on its iron. Okay? These are old adages. Okay? Army marches on its stomach was actually said by Napoleon. Okay? Yes, the guy that conquered half of Europe. Okay? Now, also, he wasn't that short. He was about as tall as I am. I'm 5'6", so anyway. Napoleon, sorry, getting back to topic, Richard. Blimey. So, their land battles would actually be kind of few and far between. Okay? A lot of their battles would be squad-based. If they were trying to infest a given area, Cobra would send in a group to kind of take it over and then slowly move people in to do whatever it is they were going to do. G.I. Joe, seeing this, would probably send in a covert balance team to take them out. No, they would not have any of these cool outfits that they have on the show. That was to sell toys. Military organizations don't do that. That being said, radio call signs, such as Lady J, Bulwark, War Pig, etc., would probably exist, especially since they were trying to be covert. I don't want them to know that my name is Richard Vigorelli. I'm going to go by a completely different name. We'll say Paladin, okay? And the name would also speak to what I do, so that way when they are looking down my roster, looking down the roster of who's going to be on there, they know exactly what I have, and if those skills are going to be relevant to the operation. So you've got a guy, very commonly seen, especially in the first and second seasons. His name was Shipwreck. Okay, he was a sailor. Apparently he fought in World War II or Korea or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, he would go on quite a few things. I remember one of them, he was in the middle of the Rocky Mountains. That would be Colorado. A bit landlocked. Okay. I would expect him to be stationed out in the Pacific or the Atlantic, most likely Pacific. Okay. Alpine, on the other hand, yeah, I would expect to see him there. Okay. But the thing is, with these teams, every single person's a specialist. Okay. Now, one of the things about specialists is they tend to be one, maybe two-trick ponies. And if that's all that they can do, that's all that they can do. Okay? They don't have the gear for it. Now, modern day, what we usually do is if you have a certain operation that you have to do that requires certain things, you A, have to be certified in those things. B, you are going to be carrying those things. Now, if you are a specialist in, say, computers, yeah, you're going to have some gear on you that you're always going to have because that's what you're going to do. You will not necessarily be going on any given op because we won't necessarily need a computer dude, okay? Unless we get in there, in which case we're going to need a side guy, okay? That can kind of sort of do it, but he might be slightly out of his element, in which case you may be on the horn, okay? Depending on radio silence and capabilities, okay? Meanwhile, most of the group is going to be trained roughly the same way. They're going to be handled roughly the exact same type of weaponry, roughly the exact same amount of tech, roughly the exact same amount of tools, okay? With some specializations here and there, okay? Just the way it is, because if something bad happens, I don't want to be caught holding the bag, okay? Yeah, I may need to change my specialty in order to get out of there alive. Okay, so you do have to remember that the TV show was designed to sell toys to children, and it worked very, very well. Living proof. Okay, I got rid of all of mine. Besides that, I played with them to death. Holy crap! Yeah. I had fun, what can I say? Alright, so that ends it as kind of a very rough intro, I think. I want to go into a lot more specifics based on the organizations and about what I would think them to behave like. I'll do that in two subsequent videos. So, if you're new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, leave comments, stuff, ring bell, yada, yada, yada. If you would like to support me, feel free to go to my website, two of them actually, vigintmed.com and vimandvigorelli.com. You can get merchandise such as this and this. These guys are not up there quite yet, but I do have other things. I've got some cover art for my books up there. You can get this in many, many things, not just t-shirts, but wall art as well. And I've got quite a bit, so feel free to look around. Everything is handled through Printful, and yes, I do make money off of it. It would really help me out if you did. Okay, so I'll be back later with probably a continuation to this. I'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye.